they leave actually that city, all right, after they're going back, before going back, how they need to give up that place, how they need to ensure that it's still clean when they leave it for the host to find it in a similar manner that they had given it. So how do you look at the experience? And if you see market research, how it is integrated, there is so much actually. It is very, very difficult to talk about it in just a space of time when you're looking at the extent of how you need to get down to understanding who your customer segments are. All right. Any questions here so far? Because I'm going to get into a little bit into the four aspects of customer discovery and then the value proposition. We have another half hour left. Any questions? Is it making sense?
Yes, ma'am, it's clear. We can move on.
Yes. All right. So customer discovery, this is how you do it. Now, when you looked at empathy in design thinking, what did you learn about the empathizing aspect? What did you learn about empathy? What was happening with the empathy process in design thinking?
Understanding the needs of the customer.
Hmm. So you were stepping into the shoes of the customer and trying to think from their point of view. So here, always remember that customers are kings and queens. It is not at all about what you need to bring into the market, the product or the service. It's about whether you are able to cater to the demand of who is going to be your end user. So there are specific hypotheses or assumptions in your brain which says people will buy because I am assuming people will buy because of 1, 2, 3, 4 cases. Because the price is going to be very affordable, because the look and feel is going to be this, it is going to cater to the need, specific need and pain point of the customer. All right. All that is something that you will assume, which is why the first thing is state your hypothesis. This is the fourth phase when you look at the customer discovery. Now that you have all the data and everything with you, you're now trying to bring in clarity and a precise understanding and affirmation of your all the research that you have been doing. So you have the specific assumptions and then you put down your problem statement, all right, just like you did, and then decide these are the assumptions, I'm going to test it out. Test your problem hypothesis. Go do your MVP, which is now coming back to not only the design thinking aspect, you will also hear a term called lean startup, which means you are not going with your full bang, full product into the market and then trying to fail. Trying to constantly evolve your product and serve it with constant feedback. So you're building something, measuring something, learning something, coming back with the feedback of the customer and trying to get to a point where you're comfortable launching your product or your service, which means you test your problem assumptions. All right. And then you talk about that you test your product concept and then you verify. So this cycle continues. Let's talk about how it is done. State your hypothesis, write down your assumptions, test it, validate it. Don't do anything without validation. Then test your product concept. Get a sense of relevance. You know, whether someone, when you're getting the feedback from your customers, do they want some additional features in it? Is it, attractive to them? Please understand, you are trying to get existing customers to switch from using a particular product, being loyal to a particular existing product, and take up your product and service. And mind you, you still are not a brand. You are building your brand. No one knows who you are. You are just having a product and service You are having the confidence that it is going to be successful. But your convincing ability, your understanding of detailing it and conveying it to prospective customers from whom you're trying to understand, hey, will you please buy my product if I were to sell it to you? All right. Then you evaluate the customer feedback and take the next steps. Are you ready to move forward with what you have? This is what you get at the end. At the end, you will get your problem statement. Now there is clarity. With all the feedback that you get clarity of where is your uniqueness of the product, all right? Where is the actual sense of I am going to make a difference in a customer's life because they are going to have an excellent experience of getting this particular value from my product or service. So then you come up with documenting all the requirements. By now you have a sense of what your plan could be because you have been trying to get information of how much people spend, what their lifestyle is, who your customer segment could be, and then a whole kind of model, a business model is slowly taking place. You're visualizing the entire product and life cycle of your product or service in your mind. Okay, to the last aspect of creating your value proposition. With all the research that you have done, now you're going to you're going to go into that specific customer segment, and for one last time, you're going to hit it and tell them that this is the value that you're going to create. This is the uniqueness of your product or your service. What is value? What is value proposition? Tell me that. When you're saying, I am giving you this value, what is the value proposition?
An innovation service.
Very good. Innovation service. Yes.
Making the product,
Yes. Making a product
making
more.
the product attractive.
Very good. Attractive. Yes. Anyone else? In very, very simple language, what is value? What are you giving to the customers?
Usefulness, worth,
Usefulness, perks, benefits to the customer. So here you have your company. You are visualizing your beautiful company, what you provide. There is the competitor. The market already has something that customers are using. But still you want to surge ahead and you want to show them that, hey, there is a specific uniqueness in what you can experience from my product or service. And then the customer is, trying to understand whether he or she will purchase it from you. What your users really want is something that you're trying to figure out here and actually convey it in specific terms. You're creating your branding aspect and statement right now. All right. So when you're actually looking at people pitching in B plan competitions, the value proposition is key. So if you get your value proposition right, along with the customer segment, right, half your battle is won. Half your problem is solved. All right. So look at value proposition. Emphasize why a customer would choose your product. Why on earth should I buy it from you? I don't even know who you are. But you're telling me that your product or your service has something to, that I can benefit from. That will, you have to communicate very, very clearly the benefits to the customers. Why should they be giving you business? Why should I spend even additional 100 rupees for something that I am getting for 70 or 65 bucks out? right? Speaks to a customer's challenge and makes a case for your company. Now you're trying to solve a massive pain point of a customer. You're going to be a problem solver. So here is where you can actually start connecting it not only to what you understood from design thinking, but also now you're trying to understand, how do I market it? What are the words that I use? How can I convey it in the right sense to my specific customer segment? And you have to understand that for your product or service, it may not just be one segment, it could be multiple segments. So, how do you do this value proposition for different segments is also extremely essential. All right. Good value proposition. Aspects of a good value proposition is there, but how do you know it's a good value proposition? So when you're doing your pitch, if someone understands what you're trying to convey about your uniqueness in about 5 seconds, that's when. This is what, has been researched. People say in 5 or 10 seconds, if you're able to tell your customer in so many words that this is what I have to offer, will you buy it from me or not? Easy to understand. Keep it simple, sweet. Communicate specific results. Explains how it is effective. All right. Let's look at the canvas. And this is something, now all of you, please understand, at the end of this session, you are going to download this canvas, or Suhas will send it, email it to all of you. Take your idea and you're going to work on the value proposition canvas for that specific idea. Now, on the right-hand side, you see the customer profile. On the left, you see the value proposition. And you see something like customer jobs, gains, pains. And then you look at your product or your service on the left side. What does this canvas try to relate to you? What are we trying to do from this canvas? Can you try to figure it out?
The advantages and disadvantages of a product.
Are you actually trying to cater to what the customer wants? Advantages, disadvantages, am I doing the right thing? Because if you then, have something in your mind and then you take it out to the market and it goes, it becomes a failure, then who is going to be losing? You're going to be losing. So effort should be taken into consideration. Cost should be taken into consideration. All the time that you're putting into it should be taken into consideration, not to fail, which is why at every stage, so you see the beauty of it, you've come from market research, understanding market research, you've come down to customer segmentation, and now you are zeroing in on your specific customer's value proposition. This is what I am going to be giving to a customer segment. And here is where actually when you start putting this profiling down, you understand which segments you want to cater to and prioritize first on hand. Let's take a quick example. All right. Take any taxi service, take a cab service. What are the customer jobs? As a customer, what would you want any taxi service to do for you?
To be punctual.
Very good. Excellent.
To be polite. Driver must be polite.
Very good.
Then
Excellent.
he should
Driver
not ask
services,
extra
punctual.
rates. The rate should be
Don't ask
perfect.
me. Don't ask me extra rates. Don't ask me for extra money. Excellent. Anything else?
Driving should be
Experienced driver.
super.
Driving speed, Charun, yes, absolutely. Then? Yeah, then?
Comfort, ma'am.
Comfort. So, Hari said comfort. All of you have said the right things. You see how differently all of you are thinking, and all of you are customers. So what am I getting from you? I'm getting 10 jobs that I want. I want it to be on time. All right. I want it to be comfortable. I don't want to pay more. Right. And the others, whatever you said. Right. Now, these are the jobs. What are the gains? What is it what are the few things that you really want as gains? What will make you feel excited about this taxi service?
Cheap rates, ma'am, while traveling.
Cheap rates, affordable
Wi-Fi.
rates. Wi-Fi. Talk about technology always on Facebook. Then what else?
Air conditioner.
Air condition, especially when it comes to Chennai. Yes, we want that. Then the luxury part of it. Right now, if we don't have the kind of taxi services, we are talking about years back, okay, when we are struggling to get, what were the pain points we were facing?
Safety, ma'am.
Safety. Excellent, Tarun. Very good. Safety then. What was, now generally as a customer, what was not working for you all these years? Before Ola, Uber and all came, what were we seeing, facing?
We didn't know where the drivers were, ma'am. Actually, we have to go and
Ah,
search.
Absolutely. We didn't know where the drivers were. We didn't know
It was
even whether
difficult to
they knew
find
the
the cab.
direction. Yes, Harini, what was that?
We didn't find the cab at all. It was difficult to find a cab.
Where are you parked? Each time we have to find out. Yes, difficult to find the cab, then
Timing,
not
ma'am.
even get. Absolutely. Then
Bargaining with the driver.
bargaining all the time, bargaining, because it used to be a flat rate and you pay me 1,000 so and so for it, and we are not accepting to do that, right? So all these were pain points. Now you look
Sometimes they would
at,
ask.
tell me.
Sometimes they would ask us to pay for the toll gate and petrol also.
See, we are all facing all these problems, correct? All of us have gone through such problems. Now you come on the left-hand side. Now always remember, when it comes to value proposition canvas, never ever start from the value proposition. Always start your work from understanding of the customer profile. All right, always start on the right-hand side of the canvas. Now come to your product and service. Let's take Uber, Ola. How are they trying to match to the needs of the customers? What are you seeing happen with this particular app, which is at the palm of your hands right now? What is the value proposition here?
The nearest cab will come
Okay.
to us in time.
Ma'am, firstly, we are sure that the drivers would arrive, ma'am, or else it was difficult
Yes,
earlier.
yes,
Time-
yes. Drivers arriving,
time
cabs
duration.
near. You can see
And-
where who is.
And safety, ma'am. Even our parents or anyone can check on us,
You
like
can
where we are.
share your ride. Absolutely wonderful. Then
We have alternatives, ma'am. Like to that direction, to the destination where we have to go, we can even
thank
choose.
God for GPS. Absolutely, Harini. Very good. Then
We can lodge a complaint on the driver, ma'am, if he asks for an extra
Yes.
charge or if he misbehaves
Yes.
with it.
So feedback is so very important, and any
Fixed
time
rate.
fixed rate. And if sometimes there is a cancellation which is not your fault, you can always get back your money, right? You can always have that option. So constantly, now you see, Uber has not only for Uber, all right, their customers are both the drivers and also us as customers. Drivers also are partners, there are customers, and the people who are using the cabs also are customers. So how do they keep both happy? The best part of the customer segmentation is Uber has never had to have a fleet of cars. They have never spent on getting that base of the vehicles. So you see how beautifully they have designed nothing but just the app. They have spent on the app. So when you do the business model tomorrow, you will beautifully see if you're able to get the value proposition and your customer segment right, then you see how the entire model, the business model works without purchasing the car. All right. So this is exactly what the canvas is all about. You can easily see it, Google it out and see different examples, very nice examples of all, like Google, Amazon, Airbnb, whatever, Nike, whatever are the businesses, top businesses, you can see the value proposition canvas on that. So you see customer jobs. Now remember, you are not a brand. You're trying to build a customer segment. you're also trying to now figure out how do I pick out the right kind of jobs. I, from all of you, got maybe 15 requirements. I am a person who can invest so much and start up only, this is my capital right now. Will you, if you were to start a business, look at all that the customer requirements are and cater to it, or how will you do it? Will you look at all what the customer wants and give it to them?
It should be a win-win situation.
And how will you look at the win-win situation? On what basis will you look at the win-win situation, Tarun? Anyone else? I can say the same things.
We may hold a campaign and take an average of all the customers.
So you see how research continues out here. So you actually have to get data on, how many people are saying what you're saying. If people are talking about safety, how many people are talking about safety? If people are talking about location access, how many people are talking about it? So what they have done finally is you have to prioritize out of the 20 jobs that you have listed and say, I can afford to spend my money, effort, and time on building a product or service for the top 5 or the top 3 to launch my product. My prototype is only going to be for, these 3 or 4 pain points of the customer. Rest of it, I will do it a little later once I'm able to set up business and do it, make this a success first. So the selection and prioritizing of those customer jobs is also very important, for which your research has to give you the right kind of data. All right. Then you look at the gains part of it. Then you put down, like you said, the gains part of it. I want someone to come on time. I have to ensure there's a fixed rate. I may not have to pay by cash. I don't have to carry cash all the time for paying the fare. All right. And then you look at the pain points. So first you do the customer jobs, put down the pain points, look at what you want, then go to the left-hand side and say, this is my app. And this is going to create. So the 3 questions you need to ask is, which customers are you going to serve? Which needs are you going to meet? That is the prioritizing that you need to do. And what relative price will be accepted? All right. Because somewhere down the line, you're building your business to get some wealth in, some profit in. So here there is much to consider. And this is the example that we were talking of. All the few jobs, very sparsely done. Call taxi, find taxi, give directions and pay. This is what I want. Okay. Waiting for a long time, overcharged by taxi, compete with other customers, unsafe driver. All right. Easy payment. You look at the gains here in green. Easy payment, professional drivers, fair pricing, arrival time. Some of them have been crossed off. Some of them have been ticked. So your product or service or the app is fitting into, right, providing the right kind of or the prioritized, gains for the segment, the customer segment demands. So which value, what is the value that you are trying to create based on your research, the kind of prioritization that you have done on the most pain points in the demand of the market. And for that, where you have the unique value proposition. All right. Let's look at an example of Instacart, online delivery of your groceries. All right. When you look at this, I don't know if you can all read it, but what quickly stands out? What quickly stands out on this? Instacart, groceries delivered in as little as 1 hour. All right. Somewhere down the line, they have put right on their homepage, free delivery for 14 days with Express. You see how they are trying to build their base. Why am I showing you this example? Because based on what you do, your digital marketing aspect has to connect to your value proposition. So wherever you're marketing, see, it's not about value proposition, is not about taglines. It's talking about the value that you're trying to give your customers and how effectively you are making that be seen, be heard, be spoken of in all platforms, be it social media, be it the first thing that people see when they get onto your website. If it's e-commerce, more so, right? So what are the platforms that you're in? What kind of, ways are you advertising and marketing your efforts with as little cost as possible initially, because you still are building your brand? Okay, so here what stands out, and if anyone shows me this, oh my god, I don't have to wait for long hours. Within 1 hour, let me go and see how they do it. So what is your experience? What is the kind of experience that you're giving to your segments? So all the time when we were talking about data and customer segmentation and demographic and psychographic, all that research has helped you to put something, how much of effort has gone behind getting to see something as simple as this on your screen, but how effectively it kind of conveys the example of the right value proposition. Let's look at another example of Khan Academy. What do you see on this?
For free for everyone.
For free for everyone forever. And you see the different segments here. Learners start here, teachers start here, parents start here. Screaming out on the screen. The value proposition is screaming. I'm catering to all these different segments here. So how are you constantly thinking about reaching out to the market that you want to cater to? And how big is your market? Let's look at another final example of Spotify. Music for everyone. And see how beautiful it, no credit card needed. So as soon as you see no credit card, we don't know where the catch is inside. But as soon as you see no credit card needed, you will want to go into the site and see, what the different aspects are. So how do you actually, when you're pitching, now all this will lead to your marketing and your pitching sense and helping you understand what am I going to be providing for the different segments. When we come to the end of it, what is your value proposition for your idea, right? Find the value proposition, fill in from your perspective of who the customer segments are for your own idea. Try to do a value proposition assignment. I'll ask Suhas to email that to you. But as the end of the session, I would just like to open it out for questions. Any questions? If not, please tonight, before you come for the next session, try to fill in the value proposition canvas for your idea. All right. So thank you very much, all of you, for this, for participating. Just want to know any questions from your side? Any questions? What is useful for all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So someone wants to summarize what you have learned. I would love for someone to summarize what are the new things that you learned today. Anybody can. If 2 or 3 of you want to share what is something new that you understood, I'll be happy to hear.
About the ads playing.
This generation, you see how, you think. And if the same question was asked to your father or mother, what they would have said, they would have given me a very different answer. All right. That's another aspect of customer segmentation. Yes. Any other thought process?
How to reach the people, ma'am.
How to reach the people. And you'll understand that further when you do your business modeling tomorrow. What else? Always remember key thumb rule. Customers are kings and queens. Never look at your perceptions. And when you're doing your market research, very, very important point I forgot to tell you is don't be judgmental. Don't have your own opinions because you're gathering information. Never ever put your opinion. First of all, gather all the information that you can because you're not doing it for yourself. Your, entire reason for bringing out your product or service is for someone else. You are providing, you are the provider, and you want to see someone else happy and contented with your product or service. Sorry, someone was saying something, I interrupted.
I was saying actually the relationship management with the customer
Yes.
and how
Very,
you assess
very
the
important.
customer
Yes.
and their feedbacks, assumptions,
Yes.
testing,
Yes.
validate.
Very good. Very good. You have summarized it. All of you have. I'm glad you have understood that these are some key important points of today's session. So I thank you all. Anytime you have any, assumptions or any doubts, you can always reach out. So,
Ma'am, I have a doubt, ma'am.
Yes,
Can-
yes. Happy to hear. Happy to help. Tell me.
Ma'am, you spoke about customer research and everything, right, ma'am? For example, like considering Swiggy. So, can you give an example of how they started their research, ma'am?
They would have started, see, you tell me, okay, let's do this conversation. How would Swiggy have started their research? You look at Zomato, Swiggy, and all of them. How would they have started their research?
Ma'am, of my assumption, I think they would have gone to each and every restaurant and asked, but that's tedious, right? You
That's
cannot
tedious,
approach
absolutely.
each
So
and
there
every.
can be, various aspects to it. One is who is your customer segment? How many people will order online? Where do we which which are the key restaurants? You look at their aspect of how well food is served in specific places. How safe is it? One, the food that is delivered to you should be hygienic, prepared hygienically. So who are the restaurants in that particular aspect? Where are they situated? And where the location is, how many customers can we expect from there? Is it a commercial complex? Is this a commercial area? Is it a residential area? What kind of restaurants are available? There's a whole lot of dynamics when it comes to that. So you have segmented according to whether it is office goers, whether it is people, at home. What is the timing that people order? Is lunch ordered more or dinner ordered more? Do we have to have? Because some places, somewhere down the line, in Swiggy's also, you see at specific timings, specific restaurants will not be available. They will be available only for, either dinner or lunch, and out of that also certain snacks also will not be available. So they would have done the research on what is the food that is more desired from that specific place, right? So there is a lot to it. The segmentation depends again on the 4 segments: your demographic, geography, right, and the aspect of the hygiene of the restaurant, the food that is provided, and where can you so I am staying in one particular place in Chennai, and I have access only, I want food from somewhere else, but I will not be able to get it from Adyar or whatever because their radius within which they operate. So what is the radius and who are these customers? In this radius, what are the desire? I mean, what do customers want? Do they want snacks more? They want a tiffin more? How do they look at it? A lot of research that has gone on. But now, because home delivery has become so much more, desired because of the current situation, more and more people are coming online. But yet, the aspect of having quality with the right kind of quantity, the qualitative aspect is also seen by Swiggy. I hope that helps.
Yes, ma'am. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
There was a question in the chat box.
I'm sorry. Okay. Yes, Suhas, can you read that out to me? I don't want to mess up.
He asked how to do relationship management in a proper way or something like that.
See, relationship management is a completely different, what do I say, topic together. But very quickly, I will tell you, if you have to sustain your customers, What are the different manner in which you can reach out to them? One is a personal touch, phone calls. When you look at emails, the etiquette of emails, right? Then how do you relate to them? Like I said, when you look at different domain areas, how do you give them the discounts, offers, all right? How are you, the only thing that you have to remember is, how am I constantly reminding the other person that I exist? Then you will understand how to look at your channel of keeping that relationship. Is it a WhatsApp message? Is it, appreciating, sending them an appreciative email, or just, around their special days and functions, doing something for them? How do you sustain that? Every time, people should be talking about you and your company. So keeping that in mind, you visualize and you look at different areas or aspects of how you keep in touch with your customers. Any other questions to us?
That was it in the chat box, ma'am. Maybe somebody can ask directly.
Yeah, that was any other questions? Optimize, because this is something very, very important. Like I said, if you get your value proposition right, half your work is done tomorrow in business model. You just have to understand your customer segment, the value proposition, and then always remember, when you're pitching, don't talk too much about your value proposition. Like I said, keep it simple, one or two liners, but talking about the uniqueness of your product or your service. All right. So constantly be looking at some videos or statements or examples, Google it out and see how people have defined their value proposition.
One more thing. So all the
Yes.
participants here, when the colleges open, they go back to their colleges as the ESL leaders.
Yeah.
So can you quickly, give small tips or things that they can do as an ESL leader and what they have to do at the college campus, just for 2 minutes, something like that.
It's like, see, as an ESL leader, when colleges open out, one of the things that you have to understand is the dynamics and the stakeholders within the campus. I would say any ESL is most successful when it is driven only by you students. So you have to have, again, I'm bringing out relationship management. How effectively, one, to get any of your work done, how effectively are you networking with the right stakeholders within the campus to give you the permissions, and to ensure that you're able to get to do what you want to do. There has to be a constant all around campus, all campus visibility of there exists an ESL. So as e-leaders, it is your responsibility. You are accountable, all right? And I will tell you, I'll give you a very quick example of ESLs, which has been so successful. And they started from ground zero. They didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. But because of such, participating in such different sessions, they went back. And then you hold these kind of same sessions for people, not only who are interested in business, do it campus wide. Let every department, student, whoever is interested, participate. Initially, don't force it out, but do a nice campaign of entrepreneurship by bringing in good speakers, having some live sessions, having some, entrepreneurs come in, experts come in, right? Do your base work of creating awareness of entrepreneurship first. Once you create an awareness, there will be a specific segment like you. There will be more of others like you who want to understand much more. Take them separately and do such sessions, because it will be beneficial for them. They, in the long run, might turn out to be entrepreneurs. So you have to have specific, again, good, thank you, Suhas, for bringing it up, because then your segments are different. The awareness segment is different. You're doing it for the entire campus. Your customer segment for workshops and expert sessions is for people who are truly interested. So have registration process for them and do it, separately for them. And then people who really say, I want only to take up entrepreneurship, I don't want business, I want to be an entrepreneur. There will be, 20, 15, 10 of them. For them, what is the value that you're trying to create? That becomes a different segment. So you have to actually start thinking of the kind of events, workshops, sessions. What is it that you're going to provide as benefit to your different colleagues and classmates and batchmates and the entire team out there based on the audience. So understanding the audience and giving them what they want, because entrepreneurial skills are part of the 21st century skills. So it is not that everyone needs to become an entrepreneur, but those skills are very, very important for getting jobs also. So what you are doing is a huge responsibility. And I think I will, really appreciate all of you who are here on this, in this particular session. You have taken up the responsibility to do something very different. You're creating a legacy behind in your campus. You are starting something, or if it has been given to you from an already existing ESL, you're actually carrying on that legacy of building something, some kind of, what do I say, skills, a knowledge base in different students on your campus. So very, very clearly, build your ESL, create a nice organization structure. ESL is always like a company on your campus. So how would you run that company? The core team is there. Delegate, responsibilities. Look at different teams, your accounting team, PR team, marketing team, and then your audit team, reporting every time principals, faculty need to know what you're doing. So each time that report goes, your faculty and your school management is going to take that report and apply for funds from the government. EDI is also one aspect of that. EDI will give you funds if they have so many great initiatives, especially there are some awards, there are some takeaways for startups who have done great in this, area. If there's any student entrepreneurs that's starting up, EDI is the place to go. All right. So reach out. Always one thing is reach out to people, build a network, let the networking happen, do on campus and off campus, events. Always bring in people and step out to meet more people. So think of different kinds of events. Creating awareness, I'll quickly rattle off before we end. Movie screenings, have expert talks, bring in entrepreneurs, do games and exercises, activities. When you're having a workshop series, do it something like this, ideation, go on to opportunity evaluation, create, and always remember the same segment of people should go through this entire workshop. Some different segment comes for ideation, they go off, some different segment comes for, value proposition, is not going to help. The same 20 students, don't look at numbers in the beginning. Your entire impact creation at the end of every year, academic year, the impact of even churning out 1 or 2 entrepreneurs should be your responsibility. Or even the massive awareness creation of entrepreneurial activities and entrepreneurial skills in the students should be another aspect. So then you look at, incubation towards the end. After 2 years, your management itself will say, hey, ESL, you've done a great job. Let's start incubation. And then you look at how funding comes from the government. You look at how from nowhere you have grown. What do I say? You're working on 3 segments: the people, the program, and the infrastructure. So people, you're building, every time you're building capacity, you're building your own capacity with knowledge, skills. You are imparting that knowledge and skills to fellow students around you through the campus and also the specific segment, right? And then you're taking it on to higher infrastructure of accelerator incubators, Atal, incubation centers, whatever, now that the government has it. Lot of things on innovation and entrepreneurship. You can always help your management to get funds. I know I can go on talking, Suhas. I'm so sorry. Entrepreneurship is after our own heart. Yeah.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Like, if a product is released for a public crisis to solve a public problem, what kind of customers and how will they reach?
Give me an example. What kind of public problem are you trying to solve?
Ma'am, today, like I saw about the Delhi fog. So if you make any air filtration or a purifier, which is like having a total mass, which is big and can solve everything, what kind of customers would come?
Who would be the customer? See, Delhi fog happens. Why? Why does fog happen? Who are the customers? Right there on the roads, right there, and the airways. So now if you're looking at filtration and all that, you'll have to find out exactly where do you want to place this? Is it in households? Is it on roads? Or are you trying to promote terrace gardening so that plants can absorb, and what kind of plants? So you'll have to actually do a very thorough research and understanding of what is your product and where should it be kept. So based on that, then you will try to figure out whether it has to go into a specific locality to test and try the product. And this is what even I know I've been looking at, so many, been mentoring some of the startups even at IIT Madras, and we've been looking at some of the products and services that they have to offer. And when they test out, there's a specific segment that they look at. All right. So when you're talking about an air filter, what are you visualizing? Is it going to be on the road somewhere, on the pole somewhere?
The centralized exhaust, taking up the fog, the dust particles, purifying that kind of. I'm researching on that, so I'm just asking.
Excellent. So if you're researching on that, you have to see what kind of material you're using. You have to see what kind of what is the pricing that you would want it to be. Is it affordable? If it's highly priced, then it has to go into specific organizations, who would help you place it at the right thing. You might have to reach out to government for it, or if you feel it can be there on every household rooftop or something to ensure that the air, is filtered, is taking out all the dust and everything, then you see how to work it out.
Excuse me, sorry to interrupt, ma'am. So I think her question will be answered in BMC session much better.
Yes.
And so we are out of time, so that's why
I completely understand, Suhas. Yeah.
So we'll quickly wrap up the session.
Thank you very much, all of you. Wonderful to have participated.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Suhas, thank you. Entire team, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
So dear leaders, please fill the feedback form so that it will be helpful for Sujaya ma'am to get something out of this session and improve herself, or keep on learning or something like that. And please fill the feedback form. I'll send it out to her.
All right, and thank you. And Suhas, if you can just circulate the value proposition canvas template, I will send it to you. You can, they can just work on it as an assignment with whatever idea that they have.
Definitely. Yeah. And one more thing, tomorrow we don't have a session. We'll take a small break to get a recap of all the sessions and also the feedback and the small activities that the speakers has given us. And we'll get back to the session on Friday and Saturday. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All the best, all of you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. This is Daniel.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
I hope it
so
went well.
what about the video? What about the video?
Video, I got carried away with all these people, no? All the questions and everything.
Fine.
Video, you can, if you want to circulate, you circulate. Or if you want to, I'll tell you what, Danny, if you want to show it, post the BMC or tomorrow session when you're taking a feedback or something. Just show them, because it is a video, especially you can be an entrepreneur while as a student at the coming up. It's a short video. on a student right from college, how he built his enterprise and he's still valid today. And very simple thing, very simple arts and crafts example. Sharia?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Fine, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you for the session, ma'am.
Yes.
We'll see.
Bye-bye.
Meet you.
Yes. Hopefully soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So Daniel.
Yes, Sugas. Sugas.
Yes, I'm here, and yeah. So the students are filling the feedback form, I guess. Tomorrow we don't have a session, and we'll follow up with the students and get their personal feedbacks. So if Selva Kumar, like any of the FCs are available, can we make use of them? I mean, can they make a personal calls or something?